Hola, buenos dias. Greetings from somewhere in the middle of the Mojave Desert. Once again, in Southern California. It's your boy Ichabod Slice coming at you with another episode of Biologizing. I'm here in this pretty special place. I've been here before, but last time I was here, I was not that good of a biologist. I didn't really know too much. I only knew about what I was interested in, and that was like bugs and snakes and stuff. Even though I felt like I knew a lot back then, I realize now how much I don't know. And even now, I still know how much I don't know. I really don't know shit. But coming back here and seeing this place, I stumbled upon somewhat of a wow moment, a mind-blowing moment, just because of all the diversity that I'm seeing right here around me. Now, if you're just a regular person and you're looking at this, I mean, everything pretty much probably looks the same to you. You know, it's all little small plants or like medium-sized plants, probably no more than 5 feet high. A lot of them look the same and a lot of them are the same. But then you come to this spot right here, and if you look a little closer, just a little bit closer, like, I mean, no, when you look at something, I don't know, take 2 seconds longer to look at it, and then you'll notice like how crazy this spot is. And hopefully I can convince you of that. And as for the wind, again, I apologize. You know, that's just what happens when you're outside trying to record stuff. And I don't have equipment to dampen it because I don't feel like spending money on it right now because I don't have one. Anyway, let's get to it. So the first thing that I noticed that's unique about this spot is this outcropping of rocks right here. These are granitic rocks. It's a granitic outcropping, so you can kind of tell that back in the day, however many million years ago, there was a magma plume that kind of got pushed to the surface, and now here you got the very tip of it exposed. And the reason that's so special is because surrounding rocks here, these small mini mountain ranges and stuff, they're not necessarily composed of granite. They're composed of what looks like to me baked sedimentary rock, or like metamorphic sedimentary rock that was basically rock that was bordering the edge of magma in the crust. And so, you know, magma's hot, so it kind of like that margin where those two pieces of earth meet, essentially, whatever's in between gets baked a certain way depending on what chemical composition of the magma and the rock, and it makes it all kind of crumbly. It's almost like in between the sedimentary and the igneous rock. I guess it's like igneo metamorphic. I really don't know these terms. I'm not a geologist, but what I'm trying to say is that the rock is different. Most of that rock was initially formed in a sedimentary process, whereas like this rock right here definitely came from down below the earth. It's a granitic rock, and it's born from magma. So you got this little magma outcropping kind of in this, sitting in the middle of this vast ocean of broken up crust. And as you can imagine, the chemical compositions of these rocks are different than all those over there. So the vegetation that you find here, the community should be unique at least. So when I hopped out my Jeep and started walking around, and you know, I noticed, wow, this looks like this is primary desert habitat. Like this is habitat that hasn't been altered. There is some human impact here. I'm gonna show you that in a second. But one of the ways you can tell that desert hasn't been touched, essentially, is the presence of cactus. I know that don't make sense. I mean, for all y'all who don't get out much, I mean, you probably think, oh yeah, there's cactus all over the desert, but that's actually not true. A lot of the cactus, at least from human impact, is being taken out, and it takes a long time for cactus to establish and grow and proliferate in an area. So if you see a lot of cactus in the area, that'll give you an idea of how untouched that area is. So our first cactus example right here, I believe this is Echinocactus polycephalus. I don't know the common name, but it's in the family Cactaceae. Cactaceae is a family that is found all throughout North and South America. It evolved here, and in the deserts of North America, they obviously evolved a means of limiting water loss. So you see these spines right here. Obviously, these spines give protection against any herbivorous creature that might want to take advantage or eat any of that that juicy succulent flesh that it's got there. These spines are actually modified leaves, evolutionary modified leaves that are modified for protection, and they have a little white color which which basically acts sort of like a sunscreen, you know, like it, or a reflective barrier to not let intense UV radiation get in and really mess up the cellular mechanism of the plant. So it can continue photosynthesizing, making its food and doing what it's got to do. So all the photosynthesis doesn't occur in the leaves anymore, it occurs in the stem, which is the green fleshy part of the cactus. So yeah, seeing this here, it tells me that this spot is no less than special. And of course you got the common stuff right here. This is creosote, I think the genus Laria. Anyway, this stuff is everywhere in the desert, everywhere in the Mojave. It's by far the most common plant. If you drive into Vegas and looking out, you are definitely seeing this plant. And if you notice, if you look at their distribution, they're more or less uniformly distributed. And that's an evolutionary strategy too, a survival strategy, because it's the desert. Deserts are a very dry place. You don't get a lot of water, not a lot of moisture. So you basically got to partition out those water resources. And the way they do that is they keep a certain distance away from each other. So they can basically have equal share of the water or whatever water comes through. But that has enabled their dominance pretty much in all of Southern California's desert landscapes. And then we got this one right here. This is Mojave Yucca, Yucca schidigera, in the Yucca, I think it's the Yucca family, agave family or asparagus family, I can't remember. Yeah, these are like one of those like iconic desert plants here in Southern California. There's a bunch of them out there too. See a couple small ones. They can get bigger than this, but out here it seems to be not that they're stunted, but they're probably just younger, all around the same age maybe. Oh, back to the cactus. This is a cool, I always like this cactus right here. I think this cactus is I know it's in the genus Cylindropuntia, which is basically the cholla family. The cholla subfamily or something like that. It's in the Cactaceae family. So it's a cactus, but this is a special group of cactus called chollas, and Cylindropuntia, I guess cylindra meaning that their stems are like cylindrical. These have very sharp spines, and there's many species of cholla in California, actually the whole southwestern United States. There's a crazy one called the teddy bear cholla that has evolved the best dispersal technique, in my opinion. The spines are so sharp, you know, they get into you with you barely even touching it, and then the whole stem will break off, and then you'll take it somewhere else and start up a new plant there. So I love that dispersal technique. It's like one of my favorites to think about. Going places based on other people's pain. My bad. And like I said, this area is not devoid of human impact. I mean, as you can see right here on the ground, there's all these glass bottle shards because people like coming out here and shooting guns, and I get that. It's just fun. But it's really hard to clean the stuff up. And to be honest, I don't know if there's any ecological impacts that occur from all these glass bottle and clay pigeon shards. I'm sure there's got to be something, and obviously like bullet casings like that. It's got to be something. I don't know if it's minimal compared to what plastic does, but it's still here and it's still everywhere. People like to camp here, and I get it. It's a beautiful camp spot, but who knows how much damage it actually does, or whatever impact it does at all. But all I do know is that the vegetation community here is still very diverse. Moving closer to this rock outcropping wall here, there's this kind of large shrub, and this looks like it's cat claw acacia, or it looks like some sort of acacia. I don't know if it's cat claw acacia, but it is some sort of acacia. And the reason I can tell that is because, I don't know, those leaves kind of give it away. Those pinnate leaves, which tells me it's in the family Fabaceae, which is the same family as peas and legumes, edamame, stuff like that. It's not flowering because I'm pretty sure this thing flowers in the spring. It's a horrible plant to get caught by because of those thorns. They're pretty sharp, and they dig into you pretty good too. So a whole nother family, Fabaceae, right here on the edges of this outcropping. All right, right here we got another representation from yet again another family. I think this is Encelia, in the family Asteraceae, which is the sunflower family. So I think the common name for these is brittlebush. And yeah, this is one that's growing here. These are a very common plant in the desert, but yet again, like another species growing here. Yeah, moving on these gentle slopes in between the boulders, rocks, and bedrock here. Another Asteraceae species. I have no idea what species this is. I've seen flowers that look like it before. I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah, we're in the fall right now, so we got a few plant species blooming in the fall. I wonder if that's an advantage, so by the time they get pollinated and start fruiting, those fruits can get carried off somewhere. And then if you have winter rains, you know, they can germinate right away and establish themselves right away. I don't know, that's just my hypothesis. So yeah, that was just a few examples of the plants. I don't even know most of these plants. Like there's this one right here. I don't know what the heck that is. There's this one right here. I don't know what this is. It looks like it's in the family Malvaceae, but there's about 3 or 4 other species of plants here that I've seen before, but I just don't know what it is. I don't have any signal to double check. So, but the main point of this whole thing is just to show you that, like, you know, this is diversity. Well, this is species richness, first of all, but based on the number of each species that I'm seeing here and their evenness in relation to each other, that kind of gives you an idea of how well this particular micro ecosystem or micro habitat is functioning, or what this type of habitat supports. And it kind of makes sense because you got this granitic rock, which is way different than all that other rock out there. It's granitic rock, so it carries with it when it formed, like, all the chemicals that are associated with magma, and then it cooled, hit the surface, and then started eroding, degrading, and those chemicals are going to influence the soils here, and those soils influence what plants can grow here. And since you have this magma outcropping, this granitic outcropping that's basically adjacent to sedimentary soils or alluvial soils, you get a mixture of different things, and that's why we're seeing, like, different plants all kind of crowding in this transition zone. So in a way, this is kind of somewhat of an ecotone, going from granitic outcropping all the way to alluvial ecosystems. And so everything in between that's where you get like a little micro hotspot of diversity, somewhat like of a watering hole for plants, if that makes any sense. And the cool thing about it too is because we have all this evidence of human impact, you know, broken bottles, trash, and yet still you have this nice lush community here. And hopefully it remains that way. So plants are one thing, and there's another group of organisms that has close relations with plants, and those are the insects. And I haven't caught bugs in a while, and I'm feeling like I should start up again. So here we go. There we go. I think I got it. Yep. All right, here we go right here. All right, this is one of the insects hopping around the perimeters or the margins of this granite outcropping here. Right here, I don't know what this one is. Looks like a type of pallid-winged grasshopper, but it's definitely in the family Acrididae, which is the family of grasshoppers, short-horn grasshoppers. I know they call them short-horn because other examples in the Orthoptera, they have really long antennae, whereas these ones are relatively short. So I guess these ones are just like kind of hopping around, eating some of the little emergent vegetation. That's probably, like, you know, some of the soft leaf stuff, because these guys are for the most part herbivores. I think they will eat, like, other insects if they get the chance, though. I mean, they definitely have the mouth parts to do it. All right, let's let it go. Let's see, I'm gonna try to do this the finesse way. I think I got it. Yes, sir. Okay. Oh, with a little piece of his food in there. All right. This is a dipteran in the order Diptera. He's flying around in there. I'm gonna let it go. Don't trip. Bombyliidae is the family of bee flies, and this family is probably responsible for pollinating most of the plants out here in the desert, I would say. They've evolved kind of that flower to flower lifestyle, just like bees, just like butterflies. But you know, there's way more of these guys pollinating things than butterflies and bees. Bombyliidae, the bee fly family. All right, let's let it go before it dies. Okay, you can see it there, pollinating those flowers. That's what they do. flower to flower, taking the nectar that's being produced by this Eric America right here, and at the same time, whatever pollen it's taking it up. See how it walks across the flower? That's probably how it transfers the pollen to the pistil. Of course, this would have to fly to another, it would have to travel to another individual golden bush in order for gene transfer to be successful. But yeah, Bombyliidae, family of bee flies. All right, y'all are lucky I brought all my toys this time. So let's make this one happen. Y'all see the lizard pole coming out, you know what's happening. Angle right. This is really difficult to do when you're trying to film it at the same time. Oh, and I got it. Set the hook, and he's on. All right, here we got stansburiana, otherwise known as the western side-blotched lizard. These are found pretty much everywhere in California. I think like the whole like western US too. Yeah, very, very common species of lizard. Look at those bright blue colors. I wonder if he's looking for a broad. I wonder if he's looking for some action. I saw a female over there. You need to do better in getting her to come over to you, homie. But anyway, yeah, I think this is a male. And the reason they call him a side-blotched lizard is because on the side right there, there's a little blotch. Yeah, they're in the family, I think they're in the family Phytosamanidae, which is the same family as horned lizards. They're in the order, I believe, Iguanomorpha. So these guys are more related to iguanas than say geckos and stuff. No, I think actually, yeah, I think they're more related to iguanas than they are geckos or monitor lizards or anything like that. Iguanas are kind of almost exclusive to the Americas too, North and South America. So that's where this lineage comes from. But yeah, it's a little predator. It's probably over here just kind of scoping out all the flies that are flying, getting their nectar from all the plants and everything, and then that one little fly that messes up and doesn't see this lizard becomes food, and that's the food that it eats. But this species also provides food for many other species of animals. Birds eat this thing, like roadrunners will pick this off. I'm pretty sure mice and rats will eat this. Snakes obviously eat this. Even black widow spiders will eat these things. A black widow would have no problem taking one of these things down. So these are a vertebrate that actually play the role of somewhat of a primary consumer, and then also serves the role as a food source for many other organisms. So their existence, their species has multiple functions. Nice little reptile. Let's let it go. Put it back where it found it. All right, I think that's about it. That's all I have really for today to talk about. Thank you all for joining me on biologizing granite outcropping in the desert. Yeah, I hope you learned something. I'm doing my best. I mean, you know, this is pretty much just a hobby that I want to continue doing, kind of like breaking out of my shell, so to speak. But yeah, I love doing this. Everywhere I go, I can't turn biologizing off. It's just always on in my mind. So anywhere I go, I gotta do it. And no matter where I'm at, I'm always looking at what life takes advantage, what life exploits certain areas, and what about those areas favors that type of life to live and prosper there. And I've pretty much been addicted to it ever since I was born, and ever since then I've been feeding that addiction. I mean, some people might say it's a problem, but I mean, maybe it is a problem. I don't know. All I know is I can't turn it off, and I got to keep feeding it. But I mean, to be honest, I don't care. I'm gonna live with this till the day I die, and I'm gonna be happy living with it. I hope y'all learned something. I do my best to try to give as much information as I can, you know, because this is just what goes on in my head everywhere I go. Yeah, that's me. Anyway, keep your decisions scientific. Stay away from all the gimmicks. I'm Ichabod Slice. Peace up, peace out. Bye.